Hi everyone, it's Becky here. So welcome to another new video on my YouTube channel. So today is finally a sunny day after a lot of days of rain and then snow here in Vancouver. And I've been really busy over the past 2 or 3 weeks finishing up my thesis, handed it to my supervisor, and the good news is that I passed my thesis defense and I'm graduating in the spring. So finally I can relax after finishing my thesis and having more time to make more art, sketch more in my art journal. So today in this video, I'm gonna give you a sketchbook tour of 2 of my sketchbooks from last year, and some of the pages were included in my master's thesis paper. Let's go. Okay, so here are 2 of my sketchbooks. I handmade them from recycled cardboard for the covers, and the inside are Canson XL 140-pound watercolor paper. Okay, let's start with this one. I started this one first in the summer of 2020. Okay, so for the cover page, I decided to sketch my art materials, my art journal materials that I use for my daily sketches. So back then I was using a Monyo watercolor palette. It was only 12 colors in it, and I used 3 water brushes. This one is my Holbein water brush with a large round tip for really quick and broad washes. And these 2, I think these are my Sakura water brushes, and they have smaller, medium tips for finer details. And back then I was using Unipin drawing pens. I think the tip sizes were 0.5, 0.8, and 0.3. So I switched between the 3 different fine liner pens. And for the cover page, I sketched the view outside my living room window with the townhouse on the opposite side of the courtyard, the house plant, very loose. The paper is actually very different compared to the Arteza watercolor sketchbook that I'm using right now. As you can see, the colors looking pretty flat on here instead of dynamic on the Arteza paper. So this one, the Canson paper, is, I think, is cheaper than the Arteza, and the quality is, I think there's a huge difference between Canson watercolor paper and the Arteza. The surface is too smooth. I don't think there are a lot of cotton in this paper to have really nice and natural looks of watercolor washes. And here, as you can see, I like sketching food and the view outside my kitchen window. And I also went for walks in my neighborhood park, and I sketched the forest and the pond with the ducks, some chocolates, and half a pumpkin. And I always like sketching the sunset skies outside my home windows, the pot of orchids we had back then, and the moon sinking down in the west sky. I like sketching my cup of tea or coffee too in the afternoon. And some Manchuria crab apples that we found on our walk in the park. And again, my tea and some afternoon snacks, some acorns that we found on our walk. And then we had some smoky days due to wildfire in Western Canada and the US, and the sky was just yellowish, smoky, and it just sketched the colors that I see outside my windows. And here's my lunch or dinner: noodles with some chicken, sketching some wild apples, corn, and the cucumber and the tomato that we planted in our garden. Some more, we had a few more smoky days, and I kept on sketching the fruits and veggies that we harvested in our home garden. And I really like playing with the page composition because it creates a really active narrative of life's events this way, instead of just sketching one thing on a page and that's it. I like combining many different sceneries and objects in one page spread. Again, my afternoon snack and black tea, the view outside my windows, and then sometimes I like to do a really tall panorama. It's really fun to sketch a landscape this way in a tall panorama format. The view outside my reading room window, and plumps, and the messy kitchen counter, and the smoky days were gone, and we had the blue sky back on September the 25th. And I sketched my my coffee and some pineapple cakes, and the evening sky outside my reading room window. So it was pretty much self-isolating days at home, reading and writing for my thesis paper. So I was pretty busy. I don't have a lot of time to go out. Sometimes like I go out for a walk, but I don't sketch. So I focus most of my art journal time at home. Back then, there was a lot of food and drinks and the views outside my home windows. A lot of sunset skies, evening sky with the full moon rising. Coyotes. These are really cute looking veggies. And a basket of wild apples that we harvested from friends. Another evening sky, autumn leaves that I picked up around my neighborhood. My pizza lunch, afternoon coffee, and mini tarts. Taking a walk in my neighborhood park, and I sketched the numerous ducks on the pond. And food and drinks, more leaves that I picked up. Some more loose sketches of the views outside my home windows, some mini hot peppers, honey, and pizza sauce. So I just grabbed anything that I could find around my home when I feel the need to sketch something. And another walk in my neighborhood park, and I sketched the pond again, and the forest on the back, and the cherry leaves turning golden outside the balcony. And that's it for the first sketchbook. Okay, and here is the next one that I worked on. Another handmade sketchbook from recycled cardboard paper for the covers, and the inside are the same. Canson XL 140-pound watercolor paper. I started this sketchbook on October 27th, and I finished it on December the 21st, so about 2 months. And for the cover page, I sketched my cup of tea or coffee and the golden leaves outside the balcony. These cherry leaves turning golden, yellows and oranges, and a lot of cracker sketches, rice cakes, and taking a walk in my neighborhood park again, and I sketched the pond and the house on the opposite side very loosely. I think the paper works very differently compared to the Arteza paper. As you can see, all of these washes have very sharp edges, and I think it was hard to create really soft and fuzzy blendings on this paper. The Arteza can just do it really well. And a really quick 15-minute sketch while waiting in the car. Flip to the next page. And Halloween Saturday. So yeah, so me and my mom carved pumpkins, and I just put other little pumpkins around and some chocolates on the dining table, and I just sketched the whole scenery in front of me. And some more autumn leaves, brioche bread buns, and a piece of pomelo, burger lunch, my current read, some crackers, and the tea bag. So I think every single little things in life can be interesting to sketch. And taking a walk in my neighborhood. So this is our family friend's backyard, and I just sat in there for about 30 minutes and sketched this view. And I decided not to paint the tree here because I really like to save the textures, so the color is not competing with the other nice vibrant colors on the back. And persimmons, some dried mushrooms, pasta. The opened pasta package with the rubber band wrapping around the top is really an interesting thing to study. And this is the view outside our family friend's living room window when we're house sitting. And some more evening sky outside the kitchen window, more snacks. So every day the sky looks different, even though the view stays the same. The mood and atmosphere is always changing every day, and yeah. Sketching something cute and fun. This is a stuffy moose dressed up in Canadian RCMP uniform. And some paintbrushes downstairs in my studio in a cute fox cup. Some stamps. And I think this is the first art journal entry that I did for my thesis paper. So I made up 6 different creative prompts for myself and 3 other colleagues. So every week we worked on a creative prompt. This one was the prompt was to do a day map of your daily routines in words and pictures. So here's mine. I very rarely draw from imagination these days, so I think it's a way to break out of my usual creative routine and try something different by drawing from imagination. I think I had a lot of fun drawing this. You know, myself pondering about life in self-isolation during the pandemic. And moving on, some more food sketches and a very rare urban sketch that I did on a car ride with my parents to Town, Vancouver, and I sketched the quayside with a red boat and the tall apartment buildings behind. I very rarely go out last year because the pandemic was really bad, and I did these 2 sketches from the same window in my home studio. The creative prompt was to sketch a window view outside your home during self-isolation, and I did multiple. And the Christmas cactus blooming back then. And some more sketches from the same window. Pineapple. Some more, these 2 moon sketches. I really like seeing the moon rising in the evening skies. And I think this page spread was done for the 3rd creative prompt of my thesis paper. It was about just sketch or take pictures of anything that you find interesting in your home or on your walk. So I just kept on my usual sketch routine and sketched the food and drinks and sceneries outside the windows. And another page, the holiday lights that we had on our balcony, evening sky, and my lunch, afternoon tea and snacks. Some more food sketches here, and this is for another creative prompt for my thesis research. And the prompt was to color, paint in any way on your art journal page, and then draw on top whatever things that you like. And so I painted this purple blue background first with watercolors, and I spattered some yellow paint on top before it dries. After everything dries, I drew a self-portrait on top in the early morning. During the workshop that we did on Zoom for my thesis research, we did drawing with the non-dominant hand. So I just drew some fruits and a toy car in my studio with my left hand, which is non-dominant, and then I painted with the non-dominant hand too. It was pretty interesting. And then in the next workshop, we did blind contours, drawing a set of stuff without looking at the paper of what you're drawing. So you're just moving your pen in a continuous line without lifting and without looking. And the very last page spread is I sketched from the 3 windows in my living room of the snowy scene, the first snow of the year. And then it ended with rain. So it was really challenging to sketch this view because the day was getting dark and everything outside looks very foggy. It was hard to see. But it's a really nice record of a day in my life. And that's it. So as you can see from my sketchbook tours, not every single page is looking, that perfect or super aesthetic. But I value the experience of drawing and painting more than the end results. So every time when I pick up my pen and start tracing the outlines of what I see in front of me, I feel very calm. And it's like going to a different kind of life state, forgetting about, all of the hassles in life and leave everything behind and going into like a really special personal space, just to create, to have fun. And yeah, so I just keep on drawing without looking back, without giving harsh judgments to the work that I create. It's just an art journal anyway. They're not supposed to be perfect drawings and paintings. So thank you so much for watching my video. If you like my video, please click like and leave me a comment below. Subscribe to my channel for weekly updates of art journal tutorials with pen and watercolors. And I will keep you updated with a lot of more exciting work in my art journal. And I'll try to do some more talking vlogs about my life and about my creative journey.